Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for coming along to this evening's webinar where we're going to be talking about the UCAS application process and what happened next applied. I'm going to give it a few minutes just to let people to log on, and then we're going to get started in literally about 2 minutes, I think I'll give it. So if you want to go and grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea, now's your time to do so. Just whilst we're waiting for people to log on, I'll just maybe talk a little bit about what I'm going to talk about for the duration of the session. So I am going to recap the UCAS application system for anybody who's joining us who hasn't yet applied. I know most of the attendees here today will have already applied to Ulster University, and therefore this information will be irrelevant. However, every day we're seeing more and more people wanting to apply to Ulster University. So I'm just going to spend 5 minutes recapping how to apply for potentially new applicants. And as always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to make use of the chat facility. This time, however, I have uploaded the presentation in the wrong format. Therefore, I can't keep an eye on the Q&A whilst also delivering the slides. So I will come to your questions at the very end. But if you have any questions in the meantime, do get them into the Q&A facility somewhere in your screen, and I will get to them at the very end. Okay, so I think it's now 2 minutes after 6. So I'm going to just go ahead with the presentation. So as I've mentioned, I'm going to just kick off and recap the application system. I'm going to spend 3 or 4 minutes doing this because I want to get to those who have already applied and what the next steps and on what other opportunities there are for you to increase your course selection, even though you've already applied. So I see some people are still coming in through the lobby. Okay, so how to apply for those who haven't already applied? Well, the good news is that the UCAS application system is still open. You can still apply to Ulster University, and you can do so right up until the 30th of June. So in 4 simple steps, how do you apply to Ulster University if you haven't already? The first thing you're going to want to do is to head over to ucas.com/apply and register an account. This will create a hub, a UCAS hub we call it, for you to then populate information that are compulsory elements of the application. I'm going to spend just 2 minutes going through a few of these, and particularly some of the more important ones. Unlike CAO, in the UCAS system, you're required to nominate a referee. Ideally, this would be an academic member of staff from your school or college that you're applying from, so they can talk about your academic ability. After your referee has added their reference, that's when you can then submit your application. There is a cost to the application. Those who've already applied will know this. If you only choose one course choice, then it's £22.50, or if you use all 5 of your choices, then it's £27. Just a little bit about the sections here. I'm going to spend just 1 or 2 minutes going through these. The personal information section, this is the stuff that's the easy part, because you know who you are, you know your address, you know your nationality, etc. A lot of people get confused about what they should put into the student finance section in the personal information section. If you're intending to take out student finance to cover your fees, then you're going to use the UK, Channel Islands, Isle of Man, or EU student finance services. You can give nominated access to anybody beyond yourself who may wish to discuss your application with UCAS or with any other universities who can use that facility. And the most important thing, that if you're eligible for any additional needs services at universities, is to populate the information where it asks you if you have any additional needs, particularly disability or special needs. This information gets sent directly to the university, and when you arrive at either Ulster University or another university, their student wellbeing teams will hopefully have put in place some reasonable adjustments. The second section is the education section, and this is where you're asked to populate any achieved qualifications and any upcoming qualifications that you have received. An important part here is that I know I've suggested that you put down your junior certs grades. They are not used in the offer making process. We do not look at your junior certs. Simply me being a perfectionist, I would put them down anyway, but the most important ones are your pending qualifications, and those are going to be your leaving cert subjects, or if you're doing a QQI level 5 or level 6 qualification, then these are to let the university know what qualifications that you're doing. Choices then, so I've mentioned you get 5 choices in the UCAS system. There are course restrictions in UCAS. For example, you can only apply for 4 from medicine, veterinary medicine, or dentistry, and you can only submit 1 application to either University of Oxford or the University of Cambridge. You can, as part of your UCAS application, request deferred entry. So this is where you apply for the year of entry, but you request to defer that year of entry to the following year. So if you're applying now, you could request to have your entry deferred until 2024. The video you see on your screen, hopefully it's not lagging too much, is just an example of how to add a course choice to your application. It is really, really easy. You simply look for the institution, you type in the course. In the case of Ulster University, that course might be offered at a different location, so you simply put in your campus of preference. And then the final thing that's really important about the UCAS application system, before I come to those who've already applied, is the personal statement. So the personal statement is really just an opportunity for you to let universities know a little bit about you beyond your qualifications that you're currently studying. Universities will use this information in a number of ways. So for some courses at Ulster University, it is used for shortlisting measures to invite you to interview, particularly for health courses. But it's just an opportunity for you to tell the university a little bit about yourself. It's literally about the length of an A4 page, so 550 words max. And there's loads of resources on UCAS to help you create a personal statement. Now, if you've logged on with the hope of potentially applying to one of our health courses that you now see on your screen, we had an earlier deadline for it, which is now closed. So all the courses you see on your screen, they are now closed for application. So you can no longer submit an application to the courses. Those are what's called our Department for Health funded courses for September 2023 entry. In order to apply for it, you would have need to have applied by the January deadline. But all other courses remain open if you haven't yet submitted a UCAS application. Okay, so now that is my 3-minute recap on applying to Ulster University via UCAS. Let me now talk about those who have applied and what the next steps are in the receipt of offers. So if you've attended our applicant days, you would have heard me talk about the decisions that universities will make when now considering your application. There will be one of 3 decisions you'll receive for each of the choices that you've applied to on UCAS. You'll either receive a conditional offer, an unconditional offer, or a decline decision. A conditional offer simply says that your place is guaranteed on that course choice, provided that you meet the entry conditions that have been stated as part of your offer. Those entry conditions will be the ones that you have seen in the online prospectus or on a university website, and provided that you get those grades or those UCAS points, you're on the course. An unconditional offer says that regardless of what you get in your exams or grades, your place is confirmed on the course. These are more popular in England, Scotland, and Wales. At Ulster University, we don't use them as much. However, that isn't to say that throughout your application journey, at the very end of it, whenever you've met your entry criteria, that your offer will then become unconditional. I'll explain that in a little second. And then the third decision is that you've just simply been declined. Maybe you've applied and you weren't studying the required subjects, then the universities will simply decline your application. I know there will be people on this webinar tonight who have applied to those courses that I've mentioned that are funded by the Department for Health and whom have had to sit or undertake an interview as part of your application. You might be wondering why you haven't heard anything from Ulster University by way of offers. And the reason why is because we're still assessing your interviews at the moment. Nursing interviews just happened last week, and therefore we're now in the process of reviewing all of the interviews that you've undertaken. And so therefore you'll not receive any outcome on your application until the end of April, and probably more likely, as it was in the case last year, it was the beginning of May. So don't panic that you've heard or you've got radio silence from the university. Expect that if you've applied to any of those courses for those choices. But at the end of April, you will get on your UCAS hub, you will receive the outcome of your application by way of your interview performance. And if you receive a conditional offer, then all you need to do then is to meet the entry grades or the points that will be in your offer. Replying to offers, I mentioned this during the applicant event as well, but there's a little bit more detail in tonight's session. So whenever you have received your offers, regardless of whether you have received one offer back from your choice or you've received all 5 or how many that you've applied to, you can start replying to those offers, and you're given a deadline to reply to the universities. And you must do this by the reply deadline. So if you have received all of your decisions back by the 18th of May, your deadline to reply will be the 8th of June. If you don't receive your deadline or your decisions until the 12th of July, and that's the final date that which universities must reply to you, is the 12th of July, then you have a slightly later reply deadline. Now, the types of replies that you're going to give a university are a little bit unique. So the first reply, and it's the most important reply, is a firm choice or a firm decision. And that is basically your first preference choice. That's where you'll commit to study if you get the grades for your choice. So you're making that your number one choice, and you're telling the university that you're going there if you meet the conditions of your offer. The second choice is your insurance choice. And by virtue of its name, it's your backup choice. Typically, that's where you'll go if you don't meet the conditions of your firm choice, but you do meet the conditions of your insurance choice. So a lot of people, what they would do is they would make their firm choice the higher grades that they've applied to, or the higher points, and then they would make their insurance choice slightly below, because they know that if they don't get the grades or the points for the first, then they may for their second or their insurance choice. Obviously, we at Ulster University would love you to make us your firm choice. That then means that come results day, when you get your grades, you are then automatically confirmed in our system, and you're confirmed as you will eventually enroll in September. So have, between now and the reply deadlines, have a serious think about which university and which choices that you're going to make your firm and insurance choice. And if you've applied to more than 2 course choices in your original application, that means the remainder of your course choices, you're basically declining them. So if you've applied to 5 course choices on UCAS, then you're going to bin 3 of them. You're basically going to decline them. So you won't carry all 5 offers with you through to results day. You can only carry 2, your first preference and your second preference choice. Now, as it might happen, come June, you'll, if you're even cert student, you'll be off school. You might be on holiday, and if you're out of the country, you might miss the deadline. So what happens if you miss the reply deadline? Well, what automatically happens is that your offers will be declined. Okay, so the UCAS system automatically kicks in after the deadline and just simply declines your offers. If you don't want that to happen, but it does happen, you have 14 days. You've got 2 weeks to reverse this, okay? And you must contact the UCAS team in order to reverse it. It's not an issue if you contact them within the 14 days. If it's beyond the 14 days, they'll do their best because they have to liaise with the universities, and it's done on an individual basis, but they'll do their best to reverse it. But you don't want to get to that point. But maybe you've already made your firm and insurance choice, or maybe you will at some point, but you might change your mind. You might think, maybe I should have made Ulster my firm choice instead of whatever, or maybe there was two courses at Ulster and you made them firm and insurance, but now you want to switch them. Well, like missing the deadline, you have 14 days to get them swapped. Okay. Again, you'll contact UCAS to make those changes. If it's within the same university, again, it's not a problem. And usually if it's in the 14 days, but no swaps are possible after the 21st of July. So again, I'm just going to show you that deadline just so that you have it, you save the date. So this is an important deadline if seriously thinking about these universities, and even still to reply to them and give yourself those two options come results day. And obviously you have the facility to change your mind. So this is kind of what your, albeit this is from a few years ago, UCAS Hub, or as it was formerly known, UCAS Track, has probably gone a facelift since then. So it might look a bit different on your UCAS Hub. But basically, when you log into your UCAS Hub, you'll see the time, the countdown as to when you need to make your decision by. So in this case, this person has applied to Bristol for veterinary science, and it tells you that she has what her date, what her reply date is. Now, this was a few years ago, granted, so the reply dates are different. But you'll see this information, you'll get this information when you log into your UCAS Hub. Now, I was asked about the prospect of receiving an unconditional offer, because when we had our student panel webinar last week, there was a few of our students who had said that they received unconditional offers before they got their Leaving Cert grades. And that was kind of against my suggestion that we at Ulster University don't make, or rarely make, unconditional offers. So I wanted to just show you the process of going unconditional, because everybody will go unconditional at some point. But in the initial offer making process, it's rarely only a few people who go unconditional, and explain that. Okay, so step one, we submit our application. Step two is that we do any candidate selection methods or interviews, depending on the course that you apply to. This only applies to School of Health Sciences and School of Nursing. Sorry, I just seen Mary Lou has joined the webinar. I'm now very nervous in case it's Mary Lou McDonald logging on. You're throwing me off the game here, Mary Lou. Anyway, step three is then universities will begin to make offers. Okay, if you haven't applied to School of Health Sciences or School of Nursing, then universities will make those offers relatively instantly. So if you haven't applied yet, actually, and you make your application by the end of the week, you'll probably get offers back by the end of next week, depending, of course, on the course you apply for. After that, then, of course, as I've mentioned, you have to reply to those offers. And then comes Leaving Cert results day. And this is typically that you'll hear nothing until Leaving Cert results day, because basically you'll have received a conditional offer. Okay. If you meet the entry requirements, your offer will turn unconditional. Because you have met the requirements, there's no further conditions for you to meet. You've met them. So you'll have an unconditional offer if you meet the requirements after results day. And then, of course, it's on to enrollment in late September. Now, there's another scenario that has happened the last 2 years in a row, typically because of the delayed publication of the Leaving Cert results day. Okay, before I get to that, obviously, if you don't meet the entry requirements, then in a lot of cases, your offer will be declined, but it's not as straight cut as that. You can still get onto the course, even if you don't meet the entry requirements, and I'm going to talk about that later. So let's talk about this second scenario that our students were referring to last week. You submit your application, you do the candidate selection, universities will make offers, you reply to those offers, and then because of the late publication of Leaving Cert grades, and because in mid-August we knew how many A-level students we were taking from the north, we were able to offer a limited number of Leaving Cert students unconditional offers before results day. This doesn't happen for every course. It only happens in a select number of courses, but it can happen, and it probably will happen this year as well if the Leaving Cert results day is delayed again. And then you're on to September enrollment. Now, I have to stress again that that doesn't happen for every course. For example, any course that has required an interview as part of the application process, you'll not get an unconditional offer before leaving cert results day, because those courses are so competitive that we wouldn't rely simply on your predicted grades. It only happens where there's courses where there's greater degree of flexibility. And our admissions team have more detail on that. That's all I can say. So that's how you can get an unconditional offer before you actually get your results. And also the thing to mention is that whether you make Ulster University your firm or insurance choice has no impact on whether your offer turns unconditional or not. Okay, so we're not petty like that. We don't mind what you do if you make Ulster your insurance or not. That has no impact, no bearing on whether or not you would receive an unconditional offer. Now, I want to talk about something that you mightn't have heard of, and that's called UCAS Extra. And this is an opportunity for you to get an additional course choice, depending on your circumstance. It's a facility that UCAS operates to allow you to apply for extra courses. That's why they call it UCAS Extra. It operates between the 23rd of February and the 4th of July. As I mentioned, it's another chance for you to receive an offer from a university. Now, the conditions to use this facility is that you must have originally applied to 5 choices. You must have maxed out all your 5 choices that were available to you in your original application. You must have either received decisions from all 5 choices, or you've declined, you must have received decision from all 5 choices. And thirdly, you must have either not been accepted for any of them, or if you declined your offers yourself. So you must have used all 5 at the very beginning, and then you must currently be sitting with no current offers. That'll allow you to apply to one additional extra choice on your UCAS application. It's a free choice, which you can use. If in the event that, again, you're declined or you decline it, you can keep using this facility. So you can keep adding choices. But the condition is that you must not currently be sitting with any offers. So if you apply to a choice via UCAS Extra and you accept it, then obviously you can't apply for any more because you have an offer on the table. Now, I expect or suspect that a few of you on here mightn't have used all of your 5 choices. Whilst UCAS Extra isn't available to you, you can still add additional choices. You can still max out your 5 choices. Now, there's an application fee for each course that you add. So it's $4.50 for every course that you now add to your application. And obviously you have a maximum, you can only have 5 course choices on your application. So you simply log into UCAS Hub, you add another choice, and as long as it's before the 30th of June and you've not accepted or declined any offers, remember, if you've only applied to one choice and want to add more, you'll be asked to pay the extra $4.50 application fee. So this is a great option, particularly if you've only applied to 1 or 2 or 3 UCAS applications. At UCAS choices, you can add another choice as long as you haven't accepted any offers. So just in terms of how to use Extra, this is a little diagram here. I'll not dwell on this. It just tells you how to do it. And it tells you down at the bottom that you can keep using this facility if you decline the offer that you're given, or if the university declines your choice. So, sorry, getting distracted. So you can look at this in more detail whenever the video presentation is sent out. So let me talk about now the points, TARF and grade requirements. So obviously for those who've applied to School of Health Sciences and School of Nursing, you won't have any offers yet, but it is useful still when you do get your offer, fingers crossed if you do get your offer, and for anybody else here who's currently in receipt of an offer from Ulster University. So conditional offers then is what you're going to receive certainly before August. The only group that will receive unconditional offers before August are people who have already achieved their qualifications. Okay, so if they sat their Leaving Cert last year or 2 years ago and they're returning to education now, well, they've no further conditions to meet because we know their grades. Obviously, if they've applied to health sciences or nursing, then they're just simply awaiting the outcome of their interview. So the first type of offer, and this is for about 95% of our courses at Ulster University, is going to be a UCAS points tariff offer, where you're asked, you're told that your place is guaranteed in the course, provided that you meet the UCAS points tariff. Okay, in this case, we're asking, and I think this is for marketing or for a large number of courses, will be like 112 UCAS tariff points, which is roughly about the equivalent of probably about 380 or maybe 400 CAO points. Okay, so there are grade requirements there. We must pass English and maths. We must either get a higher 6 or a higher level 4. I'll talk about what that looks like in a second. But for those who've applied to the School of Health Sciences, so dietetics, physiotherapy, those types of programs, you're going to be made a grade profile offer. And basically what that's going to say is that your place in that course is guaranteed, provided that you get 5 H3s, okay? And any subject requirements here. So in this case, I think this is dietetics, ask for 2 subjects from maths, chemistry, biology, physics, or home ec. So that's the distinction, and it depends on the course that you've applied for. So if you've applied for a School of Health Science program, you're going to get the grade profile offer if you do well enough in your interview. And or if you've applied to any other course outside of the School of Health Sciences, like nursing, will give you a UCAS points tariff offer. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why that's the case. This is the genius of our admissions team as to why we make a grade profile offer as well as a UCAS points tariff offer. But you're only going to receive one or the other for the course that you're applying for. Now, the grade profile offer, that's straightforward enough. Okay, you need to get 5 H3s or whatever it is for the course that you're applying for. The UCAS points tariff is a little bit different because these UCAS points, they are not like CAO points. They're not like CAO points for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that obviously the value system for the grades are different. A H1 in CAO is 100 points. A H1 in UCAS is 36 points. It's also different because our points, when it comes to results day, there's no such thing as the points race that you get in CAO. So if in that previous offer, again, the top offer, the points tariff offer, if you get 112 UCAS points, you're on the course. There's no points increase. Those points won't go up. If you get 112 or whatever it is, your place is confirmed on the course. So each course, with the exception of the School of Health Sciences, has a UCAS points tariff. You need to meet this tariff in order to have your place confirmed. Now, unlike CAO, where you can only use your best 6 grades, in the UCAS system, or at least at Ulster University, you can use all of your Leaving Cert subjects, with the exception of one subject, which is Leaving Cert vocational program. So that means if you're doing more than 6 subjects, it makes it easier to tot up the UCAS points tariff, okay? So what would that look like then if we were asked to meet 112 UCAS points? And this would be, 112 would be a large number of our courses would ask for 112 UCAS tariff points. The likes of paramedic science, which is hugely popular, likes of games design, marketing, drama, those types of courses would ask for 112 UCAS points. What would a typical grade profile look like to get 112 UCAS points tariff? Let's assume that we're doing 7 subjects, okay? Basically, this is the grade profile that we would need to achieve in order to get 112 UCAS points tariff. So that is 1 H3, 3 H4s, 2 ordinary level 1s, and an ordinary level 2. These aren't the H1s and the H2s that you'll see in CAO. These are pretty much very achievable grades that any Leaving Cert student can get, and provided that they do get them, they're on the course. So again, the most important thing here is that there is no points race at Ulster University. So whenever you get that offer, provided you get the points, you're on the course. And on results day, just to say that you don't need to send us your grades. We will know them by working with the State Exams Commission. So basically UCAS will work with the State Exams Commission in the publication and the sharing of your grades to the universities that you've applied to, so that on results day we can simply issue offers really, really quickly. So let's talk about those results day scenarios then before I come to your questions. So results day scenarios, then you're going to find yourself on results day, whenever that may be, whether it's in early September or whatever it is. You're either going to find yourself hopefully in the position that you've got your grades or your points that you need to get onto your course, the points and the grades that we've told you in your offer that you need to get. You might find yourself that you've narrowly missed the grades or the points that you've got. And finally, you might find yourself that you've totally missed your grades or your points. Now, lots of students find themselves in each one of these positions every year. And I'm here today to tell you not to panic if you find yourself certainly in the third category. But let me go through each of these scenarios and what they mean. So if you've got the grades or your points, happy days, congratulations, you're on the course. And when you log on to your UCAS hub, you'll see that your place is confirmed. In this case here, we've used communication and public relations, but basically your place is confirmed. There's nothing else you need to do except for look out for an email from the university, from us asking you to simply confirm your place. So basically it's kind of just like a tick box, so we definitely know that you're coming, because you still have time to opt out. You still have time on results day when your offer is confirmed to tell the university, you know what, I've got a different offer through CAO. I got the grades and the points that I needed. I'm going to accept that instead. But this is a good place to be on results day. And actually, if you have exceeded the grades or the points needed for your course, there is something called, although I didn't mention it here today because I don't want to give you information overload, there's something called adjustment that we'll cover near the time on a webinar, but that basically allows you to, like UCAS Extra, to shop around for courses that you now meet the grades or the requirements for. So higher grade courses or higher points courses, that's through a service called adjustment. But I'm not going to cover that today. I'm just going to cover these scenarios. So basically, now that you have your grades confirmed, your accommodation application will also be confirmed as well, and you get information emailed to you detailing what your booking is for accommodation. The second scenario that I suspect a lot of students find themselves in every year, certainly in CAO, is that they've maybe narrowly missed out on the grades needed or the points needed. And therefore, when you log on to UCAS Hub and check the outcome of your application, your status is going to say, at least at Ulster University, it will say pending. And basically what that means is that's code for we're still considering your application. But we recommend that you check your UCAS Hub twice a day for any updates. The reason why we suggest twice a day is because our admissions team, they process decisions twice a day on the results day period, at 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. So between those two times, you'll not get any update. But at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., you'll see whether or not your application decision has moved. There's still a chance that you might be accepted onto the course. And actually, we at Ulster University, we do our best in order to make sure that you are accepted onto the course. But again, this is dependent on the course that you've applied to. For really high competitive courses, there are likely a number of students. It depends on how far out you've missed the points by, because there might be people ahead of you that will be first in the queue. So it's not impossible, and for a lot of our courses, you could still be accepted onto the course. In the event that you're not accepted onto the course, you might be made a changed course offer. Okay, and a changed course offer is simply where we take a look at the grades that you've actually achieved that you don't meet for the course that you've applied for, and we try and look for a similar course. It might be a sister course, the exact same course, but at a different campus. So, for example, law at our Belfast campus is, I think, 128 UCAS points, but at our Derry campus, it's 120 UCAS points. Same as criminology at Belfast, it's 128. In Derry, it's 120, I think. So if there's the exact same course at one of our other campuses at a lower grade requirement, you might be offered it instead. Or alternatively, you might just be offered a very similar course that's a grade lower. So for example, I don't know, computer science, we would offer maybe computer systems instead or something like that. So that's still a possibility. You're not totally outright declined. But if you enter by a larger margin, you might be entered into clearing, which I'll talk about now in this third scenario. And if you're looking as glum as this gentleman on your screen on results day, which, you know, it happens, life happens. And I don't think anybody should be judged on simply the performance of the Leaving Cert. Then likely what will happen is that your application will be unsuccessful or it will be declined. And basically what that means is that your application for that course is no longer being considered. Therefore, you may be made a changed course offer, or you may be entered into clearing. But don't panic. There's still lots of options, certainly through clearing. So what is clearing? Well, clearing is very similar to CAO's available places. It's where there are remaining course places for courses across the UCAS system. It's another opportunity and a final opportunity for you to secure a place at a university. How will you know if you're in clearing? Well, your UCAS hub will update and it will say you're now in clearing. And you will receive a clearing number that will appear on the welcome page. And that clearing number is your number, your personal number, like your personal ID, that you can use when speaking to universities. So in the clearing system, at least at Ulster University, I mean, the amount of courses that we had in clearing last year was unbelievable. We had the likes of pharmacy in clearing. We had some, although it was rare, we had some additional nursing places in the clearing system. And this is on your right-hand side, the screen grab is just an example of some of the subject areas that we still had vacancies for come results day. So the point is, all is not lost. All will not be lost on results day. Yes, there are some courses that are more competitive and more popular than others that might limit your choice on results day. But at Ulster University and in the UCAS system in general, there are literally thousands of opportunities for you to secure a place through clearing. If in the unfortunate event you miss your grades by such a margin that your application's declined. Clearing will open from the 5th of July, and you can simply, if you decide that you don't want to wait for your results day, you can simply decline your offers on the 5th of July, and you'll automatically be entered into clearing. And then you can start applying for various clearing courses that become available from the 5th of July onwards. So even up until right into the late summer, there will be loads of options for you, even at Ulster University. So before I come to your questions, I'm going to discuss some questions that we received in advance of this session that I think you may find helpful. So the first question is, will the late publication of the Leaving Cert results affect my place at Ulster University? The answer is no, not at all. Your place is unaffected by the late publication of the Leaving Cert results. And that's because when you receive an offer from Ulster University or any university in the UCAS system, that's a contract. That's a contract between you and that university that says if you get the grades, no matter how late the grades are published or the points, you're on the course. So that's a legal contract between you and the university. So another question we typically get asked is whether the early publication of the A-level results might impact your place. Is it on a first come, first served basis? The answer is, again, no. Your place is unaffected. Your place is your place, and that's why we made you an offer. The second question is, does making Ulster University my firm or insurance choice on UCAS affect my CAO application at all? Nope. Your UCAS application is unrelated to your CAO application. So that's why it's good to have both options, you know, come results day, that you can simply bin. Whether Ulster's your first choice or maybe it's a backup choice for you. Maybe UCAS is a backup choice and maybe your actual preferred choice is in CAO. It's good to ride both horses until you need to jump on one or the other. So you can take both applications right up until you get the course that you want and simply withdraw your application. There's no penalty, there's no obligation at all. And that's why it's a really good system. Third question is, if I accept my offers now, can I withdraw it for my CAO preference later? Yes, you can simply decline or withdraw your offers on UCAS Hub, which is kind of on the back of that previous question, is about rating both horses. And then once you know, you simply alert the university or on UCAS Hub, decline or withdraw your application. How do you receive our Leaving Cert grades before us? Well, we work in partnership with the State Exams Commission in the Republic to ensure that the results are shared with the UK universities that students have applied to. Sorry, this is UCAS. UCAS work in partnership with the State Exams Commission. So UCAS then, through the State Exams Commission, they share your results with us. We might get them a day or two before yourselves. And then that allows us to look at your application, and then come results day, when you log on to UCAS Hub, you have your place hopefully confirmed and there's no delay at all. How we make offers in terms of the second scenario that I told you about earlier, when we make offers before you get your Leaving Cert grades, simply a large amount of cases, we look at your predicted grades, and if they're high enough, we will make a very strategic gamble in order to accept you solely based off your predicted grades. But again, that is dependent on the course, and it doesn't always happen. The final question I have here is, do I get bonus points for higher level maths like in CAO? Unfortunately not. You don't get bonus points for higher level maths on the UCAS system. So I'm going to come to your questions now. I'm going to have to just stop sharing my screen so I can see your questions. If you have any questions, get them through the Q&A or the chat facility. I will answer them now. Or if you have a speaker, if you're able to turn on your mic, I'm more than happy to chat to you verbally. But whilst I'm waiting for your questions, Johnny and myself are your points of contact for any questions or queries that you have beyond these presentations into the summer. If you haven't already applied, as I've mentioned, there is time to do so. And then finally, you just have the job of deciding who you're going to make your firm choice on your UCAS application. And of course, as we will be joined in 2 weeks' time by our accommodation team, if you make Ulster your firm choice, then you're guaranteed on-campus accommodation when you arrive. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to see if we have any questions at all, and we do. Do you have to wait until all courses are offered before you can accept? You don't have to wait. No, you can begin replying to your offers as they come in, or you can wait. It's entirely up to you. It's your application, Kathy. Is all 7 subjects counted for UCAS points? Yes, with the exception of LCVP, as I've mentioned. But if you're doing 7, 8, or I've even heard of some students doing 9 Leaving Cert subjects, we count all of them, and they go towards your UCAS points, Tariff. Kate asks, if you had dropped to ordinary level in a subject after you had submitted that you were undertaking the subject at a higher level, would this affect your chance of getting onto the course? Possibly, only because our general entry requirements ask you to have 4 higher levels. So if you were already doing 4 higher levels and then you've dropped to 3 higher level options, then you might find that your course is declined on that basis come results day. So we obviously won't know in the interim that you've dropped to ordinary level until we receive your grades. And then in which case we'll take a look. See, you've got an ordinary level, and then you would be declined. But ordinary level in general, yes, the points are the points value that you get for ordinary level grades are lower than what you get for higher level grades. So it really just depends on what the points tariff we're asking you to achieve are. But it's a good idea to play around with that points calculator, and you can find that on Qualifax, you can find it on Careers Portal, you can find it on UCAS itself, to take a look at what each grade is worth at higher and ordinary level, to see if there's any room for maneuverability in order to get the points that you've been asked to. Nolan asks, can an applicant choose defer if they didn't choose it on the application and now have accepted a conditional offer? It's yes is the answer. Now it's done on a case-by-case basis, and it applies. Deferrals are accepted for every course except, I think you know which ones I'm going to say, the School of Health Sciences and School of Nursing and Paramedic Science. You can't defer your entry for it. You simply have to reapply on the year of entry that you want to get into. Now, on those courses, Obviously, if you were applying next year, you would already have your Leaving Cert grades, and you can also rely on your interview performance from this year as well. So it would just be a formality of submitting another UCAS application for those School of Health Sciences and School of Nursing and Paramedic Science courses. And the process for requesting a deferral is to simply reach out to the admissions team at the respective university. 9 times out of 10 at Ulster University, it's really not an issue. You simply just have to give a reason as to why you're requesting that deferral. I'll drop the admissions team email in here if you're considering requesting a deferral. Ava asks, when do you set your firm choice? It depends when you have received all of your decisions back. So if you've received your decisions back by, gosh, I'll have to go back and check this date now. You put me to the test, Ava. I think it was the 17th of June, was it? I'm having to go back. Lots of slides here. Ava, look what you made me do. Okay, if you received all your decisions back by the 18th of May, then your deadline to reply is the 8th of June. If you receive all your decisions back by the 12th of July, and you must by then, that's the final deadline that UCAS give universities. They must reply to you by the 12th of July. Then your deadline to reply will be the 17th of July. So it depends on when you receive your last decision. But as I've mentioned before, there's nothing to stop. If you have received decisions or offers already, you can reply to them now. She also asked, do you have an idea of when the Ulster University dates will be? I suspect what you mean is when the results of the interviews will be released. I mentioned at the start of the presentation, it will be the end of April stroke the beginning of May. Though if last year's anything to go by, it will be the beginning of May. But you'll not hear anything from Ulster University on those courses in the interim. Adele asked, are tariff points the same from year to year, and are the tariff points for every course? The tariff points largely are the same for every year. Actually, a lot of our course tariff points went down this year, not up. They rarely go up. So yes, they are the same from year to year, but we were able to actually reduce our tariff points for a lot of courses for September 2023 entry. Obviously, our tariff points, they remain under annual review, but they are not like CAO points at all. They don't go up and down like a roller coaster. It would just only be done on a very considered basis. So the courses that I see now on UCAS for September 2024 entry have the same tariff points for September 2023 entry. So if they do change, it's every 3 years, basically. Okay, yes, Ava, I have not received an interview date yet, but was told I should get one 2 weeks ago. Should I contact admissions? Ava, I'm going to suggest you contact myself. I've just put my email into the chat. If you want to send me the details of your circumstance, I will escalate that up the chain to our head of admissions and see what we can do for you. Okay, I'll give a final minute for any questions at all. In the meantime, I'm just going to remind you that this session is being recorded. We will send it out ASAP, ideally tomorrow. And if you have any questions at all, then you can email myself. I'm the one of the recruitment officers for Leaving Cert students and QI students. Or you can email my good self, Johnny, or our admissions team. So Nolene here asked, would it ever happen that all spaces could go to UK students upon A-level results coming out? No, absolutely not. Again, your offer is a contract, and regardless, even if we imagine a circumstance where everybody got the grades for their conditional offer and everybody that we've offered those made offers to accepted the place at Ulster University, we would still have to honour our Leaving Cert students. It's a legal contract. A conditional offer is a legal contract between you and, although it's only a couple of sentences, it's a legal contract that you have with the university. So no, it wouldn't affect it at all. Because basically what happens is we do issue more offers than we need to in a lot of places, with the expectation that people won't get the grades in a lot of instances, or they may change their mind, which they're more than entitled to do, or they may release themselves into clearing. So our admissions team, they run various algorithms and permutations to make sure that they get the fine balance of issuing the right amount of offers. so that we get the right intake as well. So it really is a fine balancing act. But if you have a conditional offer, basically all you need to be concerned about is getting the entry grades, because that offer that's your place confirmed on the course. Okay, so that's a wrap, I think, on the UCAS next steps and opportunities. Sorry, I forgot to show the slide about what's happening next week. Basically, next Monday, we're looking at fees and finance and how you can get your fees paid for at Ulster University, and also what some of our students, how they survive whilst they're here financially. So that's one not to be missed if you are thinking about coming to Ulster University. It'll be packed with loads of useful information and tips about the cost of living, getting your fees covered, maintenance funding, and everything else that you need to know. So you'll get information on that out in an email.